For Louisiana versus all y'all, Jarrett Roser here today with a couple familiar faces. Certainly to me and the fans around Baton Rouge, Cindy and Chris Sr. Hilton, the parents of now LSU wide receiver for a few years now, LSU wide receiver Chris Hilton Jr., former star at Zachary High. And we are just a few days away from kicking off this football season. And I know the Hilton family is excited and ready to go. How are y'all doing?
Doing great. How about you?
Good, man. I'm ready to kick it off. Maybe not as excited as I think y'all are, just looking at Chris, some of your posts, kind of counting it down. But I'm ready now that some pads are back on and folks are gonna get a chance to hit people that aren't their actual teammates for sure.
Right. Right.
Yeah, he's excited. I'm already packed.
There you go. Yeah, heading down to Orlando this week. And Chris Jr. is a name that we've heard a lot this fall camp. Throughout the lead up to this opener against Florida State, he's a guy in that loaded receiver room that has had a lot of sense of this could be a breakout season for him, and he's someone to keep an eye on. What has that been like from y'all's perspective? What have y'all seen from him when you get a chance to stop by or chat with him, or what has it been like to hear some of that buzz coming out of the media and fans and everybody?
Well, Christopher's a man of few words. So sometimes we read what the media has to say, and the positive things coming out of camp, it was glad to hear, finally, with him being 100% healthy, ready to go. He's worked hard. You can tell with his body, his mentally, spiritually, he's ready. He is.
I was going to ask you, and you mentioned it with his quiet, we talked about when we did the commitment story, quiet storm and all those things, and a man of few words. How much does he tell you all about his progress or his big days? Or I know he had I don't even know how much of this has come out, but he had the big day where he hops on the treadmill and runs a program record speed on the treadmill. Do y'all hear from him about?
No, we don't. So every now and then he may give you a little bit of something if something goes on, but for the most part, he keeps it to himself. Yeah. I didn't know about the treadmill deal until I saw it on Twitter.
Yeah, we usually get a thumbs up. Yeah, okay, and this is his favorite one emoji now. So when I tell him something, that's it.
That's all we get.
But he doesn't tell you much. I guess his work speaks for itself and how hard he's been working. I guess he's just waiting to put it all out there on the field. But we don't discuss it with him much. Most of our stuff is just being supportive. How you doing? How you feeling? Just making sure we're being supportive. Are you in a good place? That's my concern as a parent. But, and he'll do the rest when it comes to football.
He's had some ups and downs on the injury side, and that was one of the biggest things that when we had a chance to talk to him at a media press conference situation, he said, it's kind of, it can be dark times to go through injuries as an athlete that's used to being out there competing, because as quiet as he is ultra competitive with everything that he does as well. For y'all, what was that side of it like to see him go through when it seems like some things are building and he might have that opportunity to have a little bit of a setback? What did y'all see from him, and how did y'all try to work him through some of that?
It was tough to watch him go through it, because it seemed like every time he was poised to take a step, right, take the next step, he had a setback. But I'm proud of the way he's handled it. He's fought through it. He fought back, and he's in a good place now. He looks. I should have said he looks well. He sounds well. Yeah. His confidence is really taken off. So we're looking forward to a good year.
Yeah, just positive conversations, positive affirmations, just sending him positive texts almost every day, saying, see it through. And I just told him, you might be able to help somebody else, because that's a lot for an incoming freshman, back-to-back injuries. And then you say, okay, I'm good. And then here comes another one with the shoulder. That's a lot for anybody, I think. Even as an adult, I would have been like, oh my gosh, not again. But he saw it through, and like I said, he's ready. He is.
And to add on to that, what we don't talk about is in the middle of all this, we had an entire coaching change, right? Yeah. And now whole new staff comes in, so don't really know how that's going. How that was going to look. With him having to fight through the injuries, and you got a new staff coming in.
How has the relationship been with? I mean, both with Coach Cortez Hankton. The last couple of years also had Carter Sheridan there. That was a big piece of that equation, as well as some of his teammates. You mentioned being there for those other guys. Y'all have known some of those kids and their families for years now, and it seems like as much competition as there might be for balls, that all those guys are kind of on the same page and working. It's competitive, but in the right way competitive. What is that rapport like, relationship like from y'all's perspective as Chris Jr. and as a family with the pieces around him from a coaching staff and roster perspective?
Well, I would talk to Dr. Arnold. Christopher would go in his office almost every day and talk with him, and I didn't know that. I just happened to call Dr. Arnold one time and just say, I'm just checking on Chris mentally. And he's like, he comes in my office almost every day. And I was like, I'm glad to hear that. Just let me know. I'm doing a well check just to see how he's doing. For me, the support mostly came from, I'm friends with some of the parents on the team, like Tanya Kane and Allega Penn and Miss Thomas. We talk at least twice a week. So they have been very supportive and sending me, positive texts, Chris is gonna be fine. Just that reassurance that, everything's gonna be okay. It's gonna work. I needed support too. So and I'm quite sure he got the support he needed. He got it from somewhere because he's ready.
And as far as the other receivers on the team, from what I can see, we talented from top to bottom.
Yes.
And they all seem to get along well. Mm-hmm. They're very competitive. They're all ultra competitive. And I know, like, even in the off season, they get together and play basketball games. Because pretty much all of them play basketball. So
very athletic.
They're I would put our receiver core up against anybody in the country.
When y'all start to see his confidence, you mentioned a lot of his interaction can just be emojis and stuff like that, but that y'all could tell he was feeling that confidence and that positivity heading toward this season. Describe how you kind of see that as folks that have watched him, quiet as he may be, his entire life, different ways that you can kind of see just his demeanor or his reactions or just kind of facial expressions, whatever it may be, that you could see, okay, he's kind of gotten around the corner and is starting to feel it a little bit.
I can see it in his eyes. And then he smiles a little bit more, because usually he would come home and he'll just come in here and just look and just fall on the bed. And I'm like, what's wrong? Nothing. And it's just like he just needed that reassurance. I'm like, it's going to be okay. But now he's coming in, he'll come home. He's a little bit more upbeat. Like I said, I can tell, just his body language, his facial expression, it's totally different now. And you can tell that confidence is there.
I talked to his high school receiver coach, Drew Nettles, and he would text Chris all the time. He said, I get one word answer, yes, no, okay. He said, but now if I text him, I get a reply and he's sending me highlights, and he's holding conversation. So you can see the confidence. And Drew said, man, his confidence is up.
It is.
What's it like to see him? I mentioned having seen him at the media session where they brought him out, to see him at this point in his development as a young man, sit in front of that big backdrop and do interviews. It wasn't the first time he'd done that, but to watch him fielding questions from 15, 20 media people, given his more quiet personality, to sit up there and be able to handle all that and do it as well as he does.
He does. He handles it well. I was shocked.
I think he's a natural.
But he's come a long way with the speaking, yes, with his confidence in speaking.
Yep. He belongs there.
What's the outlook for this season? Every player on that team that talks about it, they mentioned we've got to take care of the little things to get to the big goal, but they're not shy about saying that there is a very big goal that they feel is realistic at the end of this season. What are y'all's expectations this season as parents in the stands watching Chris out there, but also watching this team and what y'all hope to see him and them accomplish?
Expectations for him, I hope he gets on the field and has some quality time on the field. As far as a team, playoffs. That's what I see.
Any specific games y'all have in mind that y'all are looking forward to over others, or it's kind of all of?
Yeah, I'm just ready. All of them.
All of them. Yeah,
Good
all
deal.
of them.
Anything that y'all want to say about Chris Jr. or y'all's experience these last few years as parents of LSU wide receiver Chris Hilton Jr. Things that folks should know about him or learn about him or expect from him, as you know, as a member of that
I can
team.
tell
I
you
guess,
this about
community.
Christopher. He will not be denied. He's a very talented individual. It shocks me when people say, boy, he's fast or he can jump. You should know this already. I mean, I'm very confident in he's coming from two parents who ran track and I was, a high jumper. I mean, this kid is a God-given talent that no one's gonna take from him. So that's why I say he cannot be denied. I told him, don't take no for an answer. When they put you out there, do what you need to do, but let it come to you. Don't try and be a hero. Just let it come to you. Your time is coming. It's there in due time.
I think a lot of parents probably try to figure out, is it best, should I have my kid focus more on this sport that we think they should be, or should they be pushing them and kind of engage in everything? Y'all have a guy that was extremely talented and successful in not only football, but you mentioned track, and he was a big member of that fantastic Zachary High basketball program as well. What's your advice, perspective to share to some parents of some younger guys and girls coming up, and how to handle juggling some of that, or how to approach some of it?
I would say, like Cindy mentioned earlier, let it come naturally. We never forced him to do any sport. Give you a prime example with track, he was just high jumping. He was not running anything, didn't want to run. And finally, his senior year,
Yeah.
he ran 400 meters and won state. Ran the exact same time I ran in high school at the state track meet, and I won. But the difference is, I ran the quarter for 4 years. He ran it 4 times, his senior year. So he could have done much better as far as his time. But I would tell any parent that has a multi-sport child to let them go, let them do what they just let them do whatever sport they want to do, and it's gonna come natural.
Yeah, they should be able to play whatever sport they need to play. Because I told Coach Carrier for a while, I said he can run. I kept telling him that. I just need him to high jump. I'm just telling you, he can run. I've seen it. He's fast. He was like, okay. And finally, his senior year, I wasn't shocked at all. Wasn't shocked with the high jump. He had very little training. And like I said, it's a God-given talent.
Do y'all think that background of competing at a high level in all of these sports helped him with everything he's got on his plate now as an LSU athlete?
Definitely.
Yes.
Definitely helps.
From a competitive standpoint, or schedule juggling, time management standpoint, or all of it?
I would say all of it, but really with the confidence. And I'm gonna tell you what, anybody who you run track, you got to be confident.
Yes.
Because it's on you, bro. It's not 10 other guys out there with you. Mm-hmm. Everybody's looking at you. So that really helps you in any other sport.
And you have to be careful who you let coach your kids, especially when you're dealing with little league stuff. And outside of school, of course, we have great coaches at Zachary, but just when you're doing the outside, I had some words and pulling off teams, when you can see certain things and like, oh no, you're not coaching my child. You're not feeding him that kind of, not giving him that. So, but yeah, I would tell parents also, let them do what they do, but just be careful and stay involved, and everybody can't coach a kid. But Chris was very coachable.
No doubt. Good deal. Well, I certainly appreciate y'all taking some time on a Monday to chat about it, and looking forward to what's ahead this Sunday and beyond.
I have more. more, Jared. I have more. No, I'm
Which-
just playing.
Look, I'll happily chat. Which if you have more, you wanna
Look, we can do this thing once a month if you want to.
there you go.
She can talk the rest of the afternoon. I have to go to work tonight.
He has to go to work.
Good
But
deal.
we thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Hopefully it's some good things coming for Christopher. You know, like you said, with the positive coming out of fall camp, we can't wait.
Yeah, I mean, you hear Buzz even just talking to some of those DBs about what they're dealing with him in practice.
Oh, for real? What?
Yeah,
Look,
I've heard that.
what have you heard? What have you heard? Because we don't hear anything.
Yeah. Well,
Did you hear something
get,
positive?
you get the salute messages, so that covers all the bases. Yeah, they said he is a handful to deal with when you talk about the speed he brings, but also his versatility to beat you in a lot of different ways that he keeps them guessing and off balance in a way that not everybody necessarily does. That they all have their talents and their strengths and are difficult to deal with, but that he brings a level of versatility that really stands out.
That's my boy.
There you go.
That's Quiet Storm, just like that one that's coming this week. That's Quiet Storm for you.
There you go. Well,
Thank
again,
you, Jared.
thank you guys. Cindy Hilton, Chris Hilton Sr., parents of LSU wide receiver Chris Hilton Jr. Looking forward to this 2023 season.
That's all.
Go Tigers.
Go Tigers.